Question 1. What year marked the signing of the Magna Carta, and why is it significant? A. 1066. It marked the Norman conquest of England. B. 1215. It limited the powers of the king and established legal rights. C. 1348. It introduced the concept of Parliament. D. 1534. It separated the Church of England from the Roman Catholic Church. Answer B. 1215. It limited the powers of the king and established legal rights. The Magna Carta, signed in 1215, is significant as it established foundational legal principles that limited the powers of the king and guaranteed rights and access to justice for the nobility, laying groundwork for future legal systems. Question 2. Which monarch established the Church of England? A. King Henry VIII. B. Queen Elizabeth I. C. King James I. D. King Edward VI. Answer A. King Henry VIII. King Henry VIII established the Church of England in 1534 after separating from the Roman Catholic Church due to a dispute over his divorce. Question 3. What was the main cause of the English Civil War? A. Religious disagreements between Catholics and Protestants. B. A power struggle between the monarchy and Parliament. C. Economic crises and peasant revolts. D. Disputes over colonial territories. Answer B. A power struggle between the monarchy and Parliament. The main cause of the English Civil War was a complex power struggle between the monarchy, who claimed divine rights, and Parliament, who sought more power and control. Question 4. During whose reign did the union between England and Scotland officially occur in 1707? A. Queen Anne. B. King James I. C. King Charles II. D. Queen Victoria. Answer A. Queen Anne. The Acts of Union were passed during Queen Anne's reign in 1707, officially uniting the kingdoms of England and Scotland into a single sovereign state known as Great Britain. Question 5. What was the purpose of the Corn Laws in the 19th century? A. To restrict the import of corn to increase domestic prices. B. To encourage the export of corn. C. To standardize corn production methods. D. To reduce the price of corn and make it more accessible. Answer A. To restrict the import of corn to increase domestic prices. The Corn Laws were enacted to protect domestic grain producers by imposing tariffs and restrictions on imported grains, thereby increasing domestic prices. Question 6. Who was the British Prime Minister during the Battle of Britain? A. Neville Chamberlain. B. Winston Churchill. C. Clement Attlee. D. Anthony Eden. Answer B. Winston Churchill. Winston Churchill was the British Prime Minister during the Battle of Britain in 1940, famously rallying the British people and the Royal Air Force to defend the UK against German air attacks. Question 7. Describe the main outcomes of the Treaty of Utrecht in 1713. A. It ended the War of the Spanish Succession. B. It began the 100 Years' War. C. It unified France and England. D. It divided the Holy Roman Empire. Answer A. It ended the War of the Spanish Succession. The Treaty of Utrecht in 1713 ended the War of the Spanish Succession, redistributing Spanish territories among the major European powers and marking the rise of the British Empire as a major world power. Question 8. What significant event did the Reform Act of 1832 achieve in British politics? A. It granted voting rights to all men and women. B. It abolished the slave trade. C. It reformed the electoral system by redistributing seats in the House of Commons. D. It established the Church of England. Answer: C. It reformed the electoral system by redistributing seats in the House of Commons. The Reform Act of 1832 significantly changed the British electoral system by redistributing seats, broadening the voter base, and reducing electoral corruption, marking a shift towards more representative government. Question 9. What was the impact of the Great Reform Act on the British electoral system? A. Introduced proportional representation. B. Made voting compulsory. C. Expanded the electorate by lowering property requirements. D. Allowed women to vote. Answer: C. Expanded the electorate by lowering property requirements. The Great Reform Act of 1832 expanded the electorate by lowering the property threshold required for voting, thereby allowing more men, particularly middle-class men, to vote. Question 10. Which British monarch faced the abdication crisis, and what was the result? A. King Edward VIII. He abdicated the throne. B. Queen Elizabeth II. She remained queen. C. King George VI. He resolved the crisis without abdicating. D. King Henry VIII. He divorced and remained king. Answer: A. King Edward VIII. He abdicated the throne. King Edward VIII faced the abdication crisis in 1936 due to his intention to marry Wallis Simpson, a divorced American woman, which was against the advice of his government. He chose to abdicate in favor of marrying her. Question 11. During which war was the charge of the Light Brigade, and why is it famous? A. The Crimean War, famous for its disastrous miscommunication. B. World War I, known for trench warfare. C. The Boer War, noted for guerrilla tactics. D. The Napoleonic Wars, renowned for cavalry charges. Answer: A. The Crimean War, famous for its disastrous miscommunication. The charge of the Light Brigade occurred during the Crimean War in 1854 and is infamous for the miscommunication that led to a direct assault against well-defended Russian artillery, resulting in high British casualties. Question 12. What were the main reasons behind the formation of the United Nations, with Britain as a founding member? A. To prevent future global wars. B. To establish economic dominance over the colonies. C. To spread the English language globally. D. To promote British imperialism. Answer: A. To prevent future global wars. The United Nations was formed in 1945, with Britain as one of the founding members, primarily to maintain international peace and security and to prevent another global conflict like World War II. Question 13. What was the Beveridge Report, and how did it influence British society? A. A financial report that led to the adoption of the gold standard. B. A military report that changed defense strategies. C. A social insurance report that laid the foundations for the welfare state. D. An educational report that reformed primary education. Answer: C. A social insurance report that laid the foundations for the welfare state. The Beveridge Report, published in 1942 by William Beveridge, outlined a comprehensive social welfare system for Britain, leading to the establishment of the welfare state, including the National Health Service. Question 14. Who were the key figures in the suffragette movement in the UK? A. Florence Nightingale and Mary Seacole. B. Emmeline Pankhurst and her daughters Christabel and Sylvia. C. Queen Victoria and Mary Wollstonecraft. D. Margaret Thatcher and Angela Merkel. Answer: B. Emmeline Pankhurst and her daughters Christabel and Sylvia. Emmeline Pankhurst, along with her daughters Christabel and Sylvia, were key figures in the British suffragette movement, which fought for women's right to vote. Question 15. What year did the UK decriminalise homosexuality, and what was the significance of this change? A. 1967. It marked a significant shift towards civil rights and equality. B. 1945. It followed the end of World War II. C. 1982. It coincided with the Falklands War. D. 2001. It was part of a larger human rights reform. Answer: A. 1967. It marked a significant shift towards civil rights and equality. Homosexuality was decriminalised in the UK in 1967 with the passage of the Sexual Offences Act, which was a significant step towards equality and the recognition of the rights of the LGBTQ+ community. Question 16. Who was the first woman to be elected as a Member of Parliament in the UK? A. Nancy Astor. B. Margaret Thatcher. C. Theresa May. D. Jo Cox. Answer: A. Nancy Astor. Nancy Astor was the first woman to take a seat as a Member of Parliament in the UK in 1919, representing the Conservative Party in the House of Commons. Question 17. Describe the impact of the Black Death on medieval England. A. It led to significant population growth. B. It caused substantial economic and social upheaval due to high mortality rates. C. It improved health standards by prompting medical advances. D. It had little impact on society and was quickly forgotten. Answer: B. It caused substantial economic and social upheaval due to high mortality rates. The Black Death, which struck England in the mid-14th century, led to widespread mortality, severely affecting populations and causing significant social, economic, and cultural upheaval. Question 18. What is the historical significance of the Battle of Hastings in 1066? A. It resulted in English independence from French rule. B. It marked the beginning of the Viking Age in England. C. It led to Norman conquest of England and dramatic changes in English culture and governance. D. It was a minor skirmish with little historical impact. Answer: C. It led to Norman conquest of England and dramatic changes in English culture and governance. The Battle of Hastings in 1066, where William the Conqueror defeated King Harold II, is significant as it led to the Norman conquest of England, which profoundly influenced the language, culture, and governance structures of England. Question 19. Name the legislation that abolished the slave trade in the British Empire. A. The Emancipation Proclamation 1833. B. The Slave Trade Act 1807. C. The Civil Rights Act 1964. D. The Human Rights Act 1998. Answer: B. The Slave Trade Act 1807. The Slave Trade Act of 1807 abolished the slave trade within the British Empire, marking a significant step towards the eventual abolition of slavery itself. Question 20. Which conflict led to the creation of the Commonwealth of Nations? A. The English Civil War. B. World War I. C. The Napoleonic Wars. D. World War II. Answer: D. World War II. The transformation of the British Empire into the Commonwealth of Nations was significantly influenced by the aftermath of World War II, as it led to decolonization movements and the reorganization of the empire into a free association of independent states. Question 21. Who was the first British monarch of the House of Windsor? A. Queen Elizabeth II. B. King George V. C. King Edward VII. D. Queen Victoria. Answer: B. King George V. King George V was the first British monarch of the House of Windsor, having renamed the royal house from the House of Saxe-Coburg and Gotha in 1917 due to anti-German sentiment during World War I. Question 22. What were the main provisions of the Good Friday Agreement? A. It was focused on economic reforms in Northern Ireland. B. It established the Commonwealth. C. It addressed human rights laws in the UK. D. It set the terms for peace and power sharing in Northern Ireland. Answer: D. It set the terms for peace and power sharing in Northern Ireland. The Good Friday Agreement, signed in 1998, was pivotal in ending the conflict in Northern Ireland, outlining measures for disarmament, civil rights, and the establishment of a devolved government. Question 23. When and why did Britain join the European Economic Community? A. 1957, to lead the charge in post-war European recovery. B. 1973, to enhance economic stability and access to European markets. C. 1985, as part of a strategy to extend its political influence. D. 1992, to partake in the creation of the euro. Answer: B. 1973, to enhance economic stability and access to European markets. Britain joined the European Economic Community in 1973 to boost its economic prospects through better access to European markets, following years of debate over economic advantages. Question 24. What event triggered the introduction of the National Health Service? A. The end of World War II. B. The Great Depression. C. The outbreak of the Spanish flu. D. The economic boom of the 1950s. Answer: A. The end of World War II. The introduction of the National Health Service, NHS, in 1948 was largely triggered by the need to provide comprehensive health services to all citizens, an idea that gained substantial support after World War II. Question 25. How did the Industrial Revolution transform British society? A. It led to a decline in urban populations. B. It spurred massive rural and agricultural growth. C. It initiated significant urbanization and industrial growth. D. It isolated Britain from European technological advances. Answer: C. It initiated significant urbanization and industrial growth. The Industrial Revolution fundamentally transformed British society by spurring extensive industrial growth and urbanization, shifting populations from rural to urban areas and changing the economic landscape. Question 26. Who was Ernest Shackleton, and what is he best known for? A. A British king known for his cultural reforms. B. A British explorer known for his Antarctic expeditions. C. A British general in World War I. D. A British scientist known for his theory on evolution. Answer: B. A British explorer known for his Antarctic expeditions. Ernest Shackleton was a prominent British explorer best known for his leadership in the heroic age of Antarctic exploration, particularly the Endurance expedition, which became famous for its story of survival. Question 27. What triggered the Jacobite Rising of 1745? A. Economic reforms in England. B. A religious revival in Scotland. C. The attempt by Charles Edward Stuart to reclaim the British throne for his father. D. Disputes over the Acts of Union. Answer C. The attempt by Charles Edward Stuart to reclaim the British throne for his father. The Jacobite Rising of 1745 was triggered by Charles Edward Stuart, Bonnie Prince Charlie, who landed in Scotland to reclaim the throne for his father, James Francis Edward Stuart, from the Hanoverians. Question 28. During which Queen's reign did the British Empire reach its zenith? A. Queen Elizabeth I. B. Queen Victoria. C. Queen Mary II. D. Queen Anne. Answer B. Queen Victoria. The British Empire reached its zenith during the reign of Queen Victoria, known as the Victorian era, when it became the largest empire in history and a global power. Question 29. Who was responsible for the discovery of penicillin, and why was it important? A. Alexander Fleming. It was the first true antibiotic. B. Marie Curie, for her work on radiation. C. Charles Darwin, for his contributions to biology. D. Isaac Newton, for his advancements in medicine. Answer A. Alexander Fleming. It was the first true antibiotic. Alexander Fleming discovered penicillin in 1928, which marked a significant breakthrough in medical science as the first true antibiotic, revolutionizing the treatment of bacterial infections. Question 30. Describe the role of Britain in the creation of the State of Israel. A. Britain opposed the creation of Israel. B. Britain facilitated the Balfour Declaration, supporting a national home for the Jewish people. C. Britain led military campaigns to establish Israel. D. Britain mediated peace talks between Arab nations and Jewish groups. Answer B. Britain facilitated the Balfour Declaration, supporting a national home for the Jewish people. In 1917, Britain issued the Balfour Declaration, which supported the establishment of a national home for the Jewish people in Palestine, influencing the later creation of the State of Israel. Question 31. What were the main consequences of the Glorious Revolution? A. The establishment of absolute monarchy. B. The restoration of Catholic supremacy. C. The consolidation of parliamentary power and constitutional monarchy. D. The beginning of the British Civil War. Answer C. The consolidation of parliamentary power and constitutional monarchy. The Glorious Revolution of 1688 resulted in the ousting of James II and the establishment of William III and Mary II as co-rulers, significantly strengthening the power of Parliament and establishing a constitutional monarchy. Question 32. Which legislation introduced by Margaret Thatcher significantly changed the housing market in the UK? A. The Fair Housing Act. B. The Right to Buy Scheme. C. The Rent Control Act. D. The Home Ownership Act. Answer B. The Right to Buy Scheme. Introduced by Margaret Thatcher, the Right to Buy scheme allowed millions of council housing tenants to purchase their homes at a discount, significantly impacting the UK housing market and promoting property ownership. Question 33. What was Operation Dynamo, and why was it significant? A. A military strategy during the Falklands War. B. The code name for the D-Day landings. C. The evacuation of Allied soldiers from Dunkirk in World War II. D. A secret Cold War operation. Answer. C. The evacuation of Allied soldiers from Dunkirk in World War II. Operation Dynamo, also known as the Miracle of Dunkirk, involved the evacuation of over 300,000 Allied soldiers from Dunkirk, France, in 1940 during a critical phase of World War II, representing a significant moment of survival and resistance. Question 34. What role did Britain play in the Treaty of Versailles? A. It led the negotiations to punish Germany. B. It advocated for leniency towards Germany. C. It was primarily concerned with gaining territories. D. It had no significant role. Answer. A. It led the negotiations to punish Germany. Britain, along with France and the United States, played a leading role in the Treaty of Versailles negotiations, which formally ended World War I by imposing punitive conditions on Germany. Question 35. Who was the first female Prime Minister of the UK, and what is her legacy? A. Theresa May, known for her role in Brexit negotiations. B. Margaret Thatcher, known for her conservative policies and economic reforms. C. Elizabeth II, known as the longest reigning monarch. D. Mary Tudor, known for her religious reforms. Answer. B. Margaret Thatcher, known for her conservative policies and economic reforms. Margaret Thatcher, serving from 1979 to 1990, was the first female Prime Minister of the UK, leaving a lasting legacy with her strong conservative policies, economic liberalisation, and strong leadership style, often referred to as Thatcherism. Question 36. What was the purpose of the Statute of Rhuddlan? A. To establish English law in Wales. B. To declare war on France. C. To reform the education system in England and Wales. D. To regulate trade with Scotland. Answer. A. To establish English law in Wales. The Statute of Rhuddlan, enacted in 1284 after the conquest of Wales by Edward I, was instrumental in establishing English law and administration in Wales, effectively annexing it to England. Question 37. When and why was the Bank of England established? A. 1694, to act as the government's banker and debt manager. B. 1776, to fund the American Revolutionary War. C. 1844, to stabilize the British currency. D. 1601, to facilitate trade with the East Indies. Answer. A. 1694, to act as the government's banker and debt manager. The Bank of England was established in 1694 primarily to act as the government's banker, managing its debts and holding its reserves. Question 38. What historical significance does the Gunpowder Plot hold in British history? A. It marked the end of the English Civil War. B. It was a failed attempt to blow up the House of Lords in 1605. C. It led to the establishment of the Church of England. D. It was a successful coup by military forces. Answer. B. It was a failed attempt to blow up the House of Lords in 1605. The Gunpowder Plot of 1605, led by Guy Fawkes and other Catholic conspirators, aimed to assassinate King James I and blow up the House of Lords, but it was foiled on November 5th, now commemorated as Guy Fawkes Day. Question 39. Who was the longest-serving British Prime Minister of the 20th century? A. Winston Churchill. B. Margaret Thatcher. C. Harold Wilson. D. Clement Attlee. Answer B. Margaret Thatcher. Margaret Thatcher was the longest-serving British Prime Minister of the 20th century, holding office from 1979 to 1990. Question 40. What was the impact of the Great Famine on Irish-British relations? A. It strengthened economic ties between Ireland and Britain. B. It had little impact on political relations. C. It led to significant Irish immigration to Britain and increased tensions. D. It improved diplomatic relations through shared humanitarian efforts. Answer C. It led to significant Irish immigration to Britain and increased tensions. The Great Famine, or Irish Potato Famine, from 1845 to 1849, led to a mass exodus of Irish people to Britain and other countries, exacerbating socio-economic strains and heightening political tensions between Ireland and Britain. Question 41. Describe the main events of the Peasants' Revolt of 1381. A. It was a peaceful demonstration against economic conditions. B. It involved widespread looting and the burning of records. C. It was a military coup led by the English nobility. D. It was a cultural movement with minimal impact on politics. Answer B. It involved widespread looting and the burning of records. The Peasants' Revolt of 1381 was a major uprising across large parts of England, driven by demands for the end of serfdom and harsh taxation, involving widespread looting and the burning of legal records and documents. Question 42. What led to the Battle of Trafalgar, and what was the outcome? A. It was initiated by a dispute over colonies in America. The British were defeated. B. It was a conflict over trade routes with France. The French were victorious. C. It was part of the Napoleonic Wars. It resulted in a significant British naval victory. D. It was due to a rebellion in India. It ended inconclusively. Answer C. It was part of the Napoleonic Wars. It resulted in a significant British naval victory. The Battle of Trafalgar was fought in 1805 during the Napoleonic Wars, where the British fleet, under Admiral Nelson, defeated the combined French and Spanish fleets, securing British naval supremacy. Question 43. What major social change was triggered by the Education Act of 1944? A. The introduction of compulsory education up to the age of 18. B. The segregation of educational institutions by gender. C. The establishment of the modern state education system, providing free education for all children. D. The abolition of private schools. Answer C. The establishment of the modern state education system, providing free education for all children. The Education Act of 1944, also known as the Butler Act, significantly reformed education in England and Wales, establishing the primary, secondary and further education system that provided free education for all children. Question 44. Who was the Iron Lady, and what were her major policies? A. Queen Elizabeth I, known for her maritime policies. B. Margaret Thatcher, known for her economic liberalism and strong stance against the Soviet Union. C. Theresa May, known for her immigration policies. D. Angela Merkel, known for her economic policies in the European Union. Answer B. Margaret Thatcher, known for her economic liberalism and strong stance against the Soviet Union. Margaret Thatcher, the Prime Minister of the UK from 1979 to 1990, was nicknamed the Iron Lady for her uncompromising politics and leadership style, particularly noted for her economic liberalization policies and her strong anti-communist rhetoric. Question 45. What significant action did the British government take during the Suez Crisis? A. It negotiated a peaceful settlement between Egypt and Israel. B. It led a military intervention alongside France and Israel to regain control of the Suez Canal. C. It supported Egypt's right to nationalize the Suez Canal. D. It remained neutral and did not intervene. Answer. B. It led a military intervention alongside France and Israel to regain control of the Suez Canal. During the Suez Crisis in 1956, the British government, along with France and Israel, conducted a military intervention aimed at regaining Western control over the Suez Canal after its nationalization by Egyptian President Gamal Abdel Nasser. Question 46. What was the main focus of the Chartist movement in the 19th century? A. To support the abolition of the monarchy. B. To promote agricultural reforms. C. To gain political rights and suffrage for the working class. D. To oppose industrialization. Answer. C. To gain political rights and suffrage for the working class. The Chartist movement, active in the 19th century, focused primarily on gaining political reforms, including suffrage for all men and the establishment of a more democratic electoral system. Question 47. When was the Falklands War, and what were its implications for British foreign policy? A. 1982. It reinforced Britain's stance on defending its overseas territories. B. 1975. It led to significant changes in naval strategy. C. 1990. It resulted in increased military spending. D. 1965. It prompted negotiations on decolonization. Answer. A. 1982. It reinforced Britain's stance on defending its overseas territories. The Falklands War in 1982 between Britain and Argentina over the Falkland Islands reinforced Britain's commitment to defending its overseas territories and had significant political and military implications, boosting national pride and the government's popularity. Question 48. Describe the contributions of the British scientists to the discovery of DNA's double helix structure. A. Francis Crick and James Watson, who first modelled the double helix. B. Rosalind Franklin and Maurice Wilkins, who provided key X-ray crystallography data. C. Charles Darwin and Gregor Mendel, who developed early theories of genetics. D. Stephen Hawking and Roger Penrose, who applied theoretical physics to biology. Answer. B. Rosalind Franklin and Maurice Wilkins, who provided key X-ray crystallography data. British scientists Rosalind Franklin and Maurice Wilkins played crucial roles in discovering the double helix structure of DNA, with Franklin's X-ray diffraction images being critical for the model built by Watson and Crick. Question 49. What is the significance of the Battle of Britain in World War II? A. It was the first major military campaign fought entirely by air forces. B. It resulted in the capture of British territories by German forces. C. It led to the immediate end of World War II. D. It marked the beginning of British naval dominance. Answer. A. It was the first major military campaign fought entirely by air forces. The Battle of Britain in 1940 was significant as it was the first major military campaign conducted entirely by air forces, where the Royal Air Force successfully defended the UK against large-scale attacks by Nazi Germany's air force, the Luftwaffe. Question 50. How did the Acts of Union 1707 affect the political landscape of Great Britain and Ireland? A. It dissolved the parliaments of England and Scotland to form a new sovereign state. B. It created a unified military command under Irish leadership. C. It led to immediate political stability and economic prosperity. D. It separated Northern Ireland from the rest of Ireland. Answer: A. It dissolved the parliaments of England and Scotland to form a new sovereign state. The Acts of Union 1707 were significant as they dissolved the individual parliaments of England and Scotland and created a new unified Parliament of Great Britain, marking the formation of the United Kingdom. Question 51. Who was involved in the signing of the Anglo-Irish Treaty, and what did it establish? A. Winston Churchill and Franklin Roosevelt. It ended World War II. B. Representatives of the British government and Irish Republicans. It established the Irish Free State. C. Margaret Thatcher and Ronald Reagan. It ended the Cold War. D. Queen Elizabeth II and Pope John Paul II. It established diplomatic relations. Answer: B. Representatives of the British government and Irish Republicans. It established the Irish Free State. The Anglo-Irish Treaty was signed in 1921 by representatives of the British government and Irish Republicans, leading to the end of the Irish War of Independence and the establishment of the Irish Free State, a dominion within the British Empire. Question 52. What role did Britain play in the abolition of the transatlantic slave trade? A. It was the first to enact laws banning the slave trade. B. It was primarily opposed to abolition efforts. C. It played a minor role and followed other countries' leads. D. It provided military support to slave-trading nations. Answer: A. It was the first to enact laws banning the slave trade. Britain played a leading role in the abolition of the transatlantic slave trade, with the Slave Trade Act of 1807, making it the first nation to prohibit the trade, followed by a naval enforcement campaign against other nations' slave ships. Question 53. What are the main functions of the modern House of Commons in the UK? A. To solely elect the Prime Minister. B. To review and challenge the work of the government, make and shape laws, and debate important issues. C. To pass ceremonial legislation only. D. To manage the UK's foreign policies exclusively. Answer: B. To review and challenge the work of the government, make and shape laws, and debate important issues. The House of Commons plays a central role in UK politics by reviewing and challenging the work of the government, shaping and passing legislation, and debating national and international issues. Question 54. Which British monarch was involved in the signing of the Bill of Rights in 1689? A. King Henry VIII. B. Queen Mary II and King William III. C. Queen Elizabeth I. D. King James I. Answer: B. Queen Mary II and King William III. The Bill of Rights in 1689 was signed during the reign of Queen Mary II and King William III, William and Mary, establishing restrictions on royal authority and enhancing the rights of Parliament. Question 55. What is the historical significance of Hadrian's Wall? A. It was built to mark the boundary of the Roman Empire and protect against northern tribes. B. It was a defensive fortification against the French during the Napoleonic Wars. C. It represented the division between England and Scotland. D. It was constructed to control immigration during the Roman period. Answer: A. It was built to mark the boundary of the Roman Empire and protect against northern tribes. Hadrian's Wall, built on the orders of Emperor Hadrian in 122 AD, is historically significant as it marked the northern limit of Roman Britain and served as a fortification against the tribes of northern Britain. Question 56. What were the terms and impact of the Treaty of Paris in 1763 on the British Empire? A. It ended the American Revolution and recognized American independence. B. It concluded the 7 Years' War, significantly expanding British territorial claims in America and India. C. It established Britain as a secondary naval power. D. It resulted in the loss of British territories in the Caribbean. Answer. B. It concluded the 7 Years' War, significantly expanding British territorial claims in America and India. The Treaty of Paris in 1763 ended the 7 Years' War and was crucial for the British Empire, as it gained vast territories in North America and India, marking the peak of its colonial power. Question 57. What prompted the enactment of the Factory Acts during the Industrial Revolution? A. The need to regulate the burgeoning industries and improve working conditions. B. A desire to decrease production and reduce industrial growth. C. Pressure from foreign governments concerned about competition. D. Efforts to dismantle the industrial sector. Answer. A. The need to regulate the burgeoning industries and improve working conditions. The Factory Acts were a series of laws passed during the 19th century to address the poor and often dangerous working conditions in factories, particularly for children and women during the Industrial Revolution. Question 58. Who was the key figure in the establishment of the welfare state in post-war Britain? A. Winston Churchill. B. Clement Attlee. C. Margaret Thatcher. D. Tony Blair. Answer. B. Clement Attlee. Clement Attlee, the Prime Minister of the UK after World War II, was instrumental in the establishment of the welfare state, including the creation of the National Health Service based on the recommendations of the Beveridge Report. Question 59. What triggered the English Reformation in the 16th century? A. Economic disputes between England and the Papal States. B. King Henry VIII's desire to divorce Catherine of Aragon and remarry. C. Military conflicts with Catholic Spain. D. The discovery of the New World. Answer. B. King Henry VIII's desire to divorce Catherine of Aragon and remarry. The English Reformation was largely triggered by King Henry VIII's desire to annul his marriage to Catherine of Aragon, which the Pope refused to sanction, leading to the establishment of the Church of England with the King as its head. Question 60. When did the Women's Social and Political Union become prominent, and who founded it? A. 1903, founded by Emmeline Pankhurst and her daughters. B. 1920, founded by Virginia Woolf. C. 1945, founded by Clementine Churchill. D. 1960, founded by Barbara Castle. Answer. A. 1903, founded by Emmeline Pankhurst and her daughters, the Women's Social and Political Union. WSPU became prominent in the early 20th century, founded by Emmeline Pankhurst and her daughters, known for its militant tactics in advocating for women's suffrage in the UK. Question 61. What was the main outcome of the Battle of Waterloo in 1815? A. It led to the expansion of the British Empire in Europe. B. It resulted in Napoleon's final defeat and ended the Napoleonic Wars. C. It triggered the start of the Industrial Revolution in Britain. D. It caused a short-lived alliance between France and Britain. Answer: B. It resulted in Napoleon's final defeat and ended the Napoleonic Wars. The Battle of Waterloo in 1815 was significant as it marked the final defeat of Napoleon Bonaparte, effectively ending the series of conflicts known as the Napoleonic Wars. Question 62. What was the significance of the Reform Act of 1867 in British political reform? A. It abolished the monarchy and established a republic. B. It extended the vote to urban working-class men. C. It granted voting rights to women. D. It merged the kingdoms of England and Scotland. Answer: B. It extended the vote to urban working-class men. The Reform Act of 1867 was significant in British political history as it expanded the electorate to include many urban working-class men, further democratizing the voting process. Question 63. What were the effects of the Corn Laws on British agriculture and politics? A. They decreased food prices and increased imports. B. They stabilized agricultural production but caused political unrest. C. They increased food prices and restricted grain imports, leading to widespread protests. D. They led to the industrialization of agriculture. Answer: C. They increased food prices and restricted grain imports, leading to widespread protests. The Corn Laws, enacted to protect domestic grain producers, had the effect of increasing food prices and limiting grain imports, which contributed to economic hardship and political unrest, culminating in their repeal in 1846. Question 64. Who were the main participants in the Wars of the Roses? A. The House of Tudor and the House of Stuart. B. The House of Lancaster and the House of York. C. The House of Windsor and the House of Hanover. D. The House of Plantagenet and the House of Normandy. Answer: B. The House of Lancaster and the House of York. The Wars of the Roses were a series of civil wars for control of the throne of England, fought between supporters of two rival branches of the royal house of Plantagenet, the House of Lancaster and the House of York. Question 65. Describe the significance of the Crystal Palace built for the Great Exhibition of 1851. A. It was the first structure to use prefabricated parts and glass extensively. B. It was a military fort used during the exhibition. C. It hosted the signing of important international treaties. D. It was the site of the first modern Olympic Games. Answer: A. It was the first structure to use prefabricated parts and glass extensively. The Crystal Palace, built for the Great Exhibition of 1851 in London, was significant for its innovative use of iron and glass, symbolizing the technological advancements of the industrial age. Question 66. What led to the formation of the Labour Party in the UK? A. A desire to represent the landed gentry. B. The need to provide a political voice for the working class. C. The success of the Conservative Party. D. A split within the Liberal Party over foreign policy. Answer: B. The need to provide a political voice for the working class. The formation of the Labour Party in the early 20th century was driven by the need to better represent the interests and aspirations of the working class in Parliament. Question 67. What was the significance of the Zinoviev letter in British politics? A. It led to a treaty between the UK and the Soviet Union. B. It was a forgery that impacted the 1924 general election, discrediting the Labour Party. C. It confirmed the end of the Cold War. D. It was a declaration of war from the Soviet Union. Answer B. It was a forgery that impacted the 1924 general election, discrediting the Labour Party. The Zinoviev letter, a controversial document published by the British press, was purportedly a directive from Grigory Zinoviev, calling for communist agitation in Britain. Its publication days before the 1924 election is credited with influencing the outcome against the Labour Party. Question 68. What is the historical importance of the Pankhurst family in the UK? A. They led agricultural reforms in the 19th century. B. They founded the British Red Cross. C. They were instrumental in the women's suffrage movement. D. They were key figures in the English Renaissance. Answer C. They were instrumental in the women's suffrage movement. Emmeline Pankhurst and her daughters were central figures in the British suffrage movement, known for their leadership of the Women's Social and Political Union and militant tactics aimed at securing women's voting rights. Question 69. Who was involved in the Cambridge 5 espionage case during the Cold War? A. A group of Soviet diplomats. B. 5 British businessmen. C. 5 British spies who passed information to the Soviet Union. D. Members of the British royal family. Answer C. 5 British spies who passed information to the Soviet Union. The Cambridge 5 were a ring of spies in the United Kingdom who passed information to the Soviet Union during World War II and the early stages of the Cold War, significantly impacting British intelligence operations. Question 70. What triggered the decolonization process in the British Empire after World War II? A. Economic prosperity in Britain. B. The rise of nationalist movements within the colonies. C. A decision by the United Nations. D. The discovery of oil in the Middle East. Answer B. The rise of nationalist movements within the colonies. The decolonization process of the British Empire after World War II was largely triggered by the growth of strong nationalist movements within the colonies, seeking independence and self-governance. Question 71. Describe the significance of the swinging 60s in London. A. It was marked by economic decline and political instability. B. It was a cultural revolution that emphasized modernity and fun, impacting music, fashion, and attitudes. C. It focused on the restoration of historical landmarks. D. It was a period of strict social conservatism. Answer B. It was a cultural revolution that emphasized modernity and fun, impacting music, fashion, and attitudes. The swinging 60s in London were significant as a cultural revolution, where the city became a vibrant hub for youth culture music, notably through bands like the Beatles, and fashion, reflecting broader social changes. Question 72. What role did Winston Churchill play during World War II? A. He was a general in the British Army. B. He served as the Prime Minister of the UK, leading the country through the war. C. He was an ambassador to the United States. D. He was a pacifist leader advocating for peace. Answer B. He served as the Prime Minister of the UK, leading the country through the war. Winston Churchill is best known for his leadership as the British Prime Minister during World War II, where his oratory skills and steadfast public presence bolstered British morale during critical phases of the war. Question 73. What was the main result of the British Nationality Act 1948? A. It restricted immigration to the UK. B. It established the Commonwealth citizenship, allowing for a common status among UK and its colonies. C. It ended the citizenship of all non-British subjects. D. It created the European Union citizenship. Answer B. It established the Commonwealth citizenship, allowing for a common status among UK and its colonies. The British Nationality Act of 1948 was significant as it established the status of Commonwealth citizenship, which recognised a shared status among citizens of the UK and its colonies, facilitating rights to live and work across these territories. Question 74. Who was responsible for initiating the National Health Service, and what was its purpose? A. Margaret Thatcher, to privatise healthcare. B. Winston Churchill, to provide military veterans with health care. C. Clement Attlee, to provide free health care accessible to all UK residents based on need, not income. D. Tony Blair, to reform health care financing. Answer C. Clement Attlee, to provide free health care accessible to all UK residents based on need, not income. The National Health Service, NHS, was established by the post-war Labour government under Clement Attlee in 1948, with the purpose of providing comprehensive health care free at the point of use for all UK residents, a cornerstone of the welfare state. Question 75. What were the key outcomes of the Beveridge Report? A. It led to the reduction of defence expenditures. B. It proposed wide-ranging social insurance and welfare benefits, leading to the creation of the welfare state. C. It suggested privatising state-owned enterprises. D. It focused on improving diplomatic relations with the Soviet Union. Answer B. It proposed wide-ranging social insurance and welfare benefits, leading to the creation of the welfare state. The Beveridge Report, published in 1942, outlined a plan for widespread social insurance from cradle to grave, laying the foundation for the modern British welfare state, which included the creation of the National Health Service. Question 76. What major event occurred during Queen Elizabeth II's Silver Jubilee? A. The dissolution of the Commonwealth. B. Nationwide celebrations and community events in 1977, marking her 25 years on the throne. C. The initiation of Brexit negotiations. D. The signing of the Maastricht Treaty. Answer B. Nationwide celebrations and community events in 1977, marking her 25 years on the throne. Queen Elizabeth II's Silver Jubilee in 1977 was marked by extensive celebrations across the UK and the Commonwealth, reflecting public support and affection for the monarchy. Question 77. Who was the first Archbishop of Canterbury, and what was his role? A. Thomas Becket. He was a political advisor to the King. B. Augustine of Canterbury. He established the Church of England. C. George Carey. He modernized church services. D. Rowan Williams. He focused on interfaith dialogue. Answer B. Augustine of Canterbury. He established the Church of England. Augustine of Canterbury, sent by Pope Gregory the Great in 597 AD, is recognized as the first Archbishop of Canterbury, playing a crucial role in establishing Christianity in southern England. Question 78. What was the significance of the Battle of Agincourt in 1415? A. It marked the end of the 100 Years' War. B. It was a decisive victory for English forces against France during the 100 Years' War. C. It led to the signing of the Treaty of Paris. D. It resulted in the loss of English territories in France. Answer B. It was a decisive victory for English forces against France during the 100 Years' War. The Battle of Agincourt in 1415 is notable for its strategic significance and the use of the English longbow, which led to a major victory against a larger French army, becoming a symbol of English military prowess. Question 79. What are the main features of the British constitutional system? A. It is based on a single written document. B. It includes the monarchy, parliament, and the judiciary as key institutions. C. It is a federal system with a strong central government. D. It is a purely democratic system with no hereditary positions. Answer. B. It includes the monarchy, parliament, and the judiciary as key institutions. The British constitutional system is characterized by its uncodified constitution, which includes key principles and institutions such as the monarchy, the bicameral parliament, House of Commons and House of Lords, and an independent judiciary functioning within a unitary state. Question 80. What was the impact of the Boer War on British imperial policy? A. It led to the immediate collapse of the British Empire. B. It prompted reforms in military tactics and highlighted the need for changes in imperial administration. C. It resulted in Britain abandoning all overseas territories. D. It initiated the UK's membership in the European Union. Answer. B. It prompted reforms in military tactics and highlighted the need for changes in imperial administration. The Boer War, 1899 to 1902, had significant repercussions for British imperial policy, leading to military and administrative reforms as it exposed weaknesses in both areas and stirred public debate about the ethics and costs of the empire. Question 81. Describe the changes brought by the Human Rights Act 1998. A. It restricted individual freedoms to increase national security. B. It incorporated the European Convention on Human Rights into UK law. C. It abolished all previous UK human rights laws. D. It established the European Union's legal framework in the UK. Answer. B. It incorporated the European Convention on Human Rights into UK law. The Human Rights Act 1998 was significant as it incorporated the rights set out in the European Convention on Human Rights into domestic British law, allowing UK citizens to take human rights cases to domestic courts. Question 82. What is the significance of the Battle of Bannockburn in Scottish history? A. It marked Scotland's temporary occupation by England. B. It was a minor skirmish with no long-term consequences. C. It was a decisive victory for Scottish forces led by Robert the Bruce against England. D. It led to the union between Scotland and England. Answer. C. It was a decisive victory for Scottish forces led by Robert the Bruce against England. The Battle of Bannockburn in 1314 is celebrated as a key moment in Scottish history, where Robert the Bruce defeated the English forces, securing de facto independence for Scotland. Question 83. How did the Victorian era influence British culture and industry? A. It led to a decline in industrial production and cultural expression. B. It saw major advancements in industrial technology and the expansion of the British Empire, influencing global culture. C. It isolated Britain from European cultural trends. D. It focused solely on agricultural development. Answer. B. It saw major advancements in industrial technology and the expansion of the British Empire, influencing global culture. The Victorian era was marked by a significant expansion in industrial technology and the British Empire, which influenced not only British culture, but also had a global impact, spreading Victorian cultural, social, and moral values worldwide. Question 84. What were the effects of the British East India Company on the Indian subcontinent? A. It primarily focused on cultural exchanges between Britain and India. B. It led to the economic isolation of India. C. It played a pivotal role in establishing British colonial rule through economic and military influence. D. It had minimal impact on the governance of India. Answer. C. It played a pivotal role in establishing British colonial rule through economic and military influence. The British East India Company was instrumental in the colonization of India, using both economic strategies and military force to exert control over vast regions of the Indian subcontinent, laying the groundwork for direct British rule. Question 85. What historical event is marked by the signing of the Anglo-Japanese alliance, and why was it important? A. It marked the beginning of Japan's colonization. B. It was a trade agreement that had little impact on international relations. C. It established a military alliance between Britain and Japan, influencing the balance of power in East Asia. D. It led to the end of diplomatic relations between Britain and China. Answer. C. It established a military alliance between Britain and Japan, influencing the balance of power in East Asia. The Anglo-Japanese alliance, signed in 1902, was significant as it recognized each country's territorial rights in East Asia and aimed at curbing Russian expansionism in the region, thus affecting the geopolitical landscape of East Asia.